Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. All right, had some requests for this. I'm going to just do a general reading on Joe Biden. It's been a while since I've read on Joe, and I'm curious what he's been up to, how he's doing, how things are looking for the elections in November, and just that sort of thing. Let's touch base, shall we? Okay, so entertainment purposes only. What's the energy currently around Joe Biden? This card wants to stay on top, and who am I to deny Spirit the card that they want? Two of Wands, entertainment purpose only, in case I didn't get that out through all the clearing my throat. He's planning. He's got a lot of things going on the world, and he is a man of action. And he's implementing plans. In this case, Two of Wands is kind of like doing research. Scouting out the land, scouting out the landscape, trying to figure out what your next move is going to be before you actually implement your move. It's planning, as opposed to his main political opponent who just, kind of flies by the seat of his pants. Crossed with the Eight of Swords, that feeling of restriction. He probably, one of the advantages of being the non-incumbent is you're not encumbered with actually doing the job of the presidency. Now, mind you, Trump didn't do the job of the presidency. He let other people do that while he golfed. But there are things I think that Biden looks at that would be politically advantageous for him, but he cannot do it because he has to do things that are in the best interest of the country. And, he has to lead the country. I believe you can look at the protests that's happening on college campuses regarding Israel and Palestine as a good example of this. Many people would agree that you don't want to see the Palestinian people suffering in Gaza. You don't want to see them starved out. You certainly don't want to see bombs being dropped on children. Go figure, that's a pretty defensible thing. But the response to Israel is the tricky part. Israel has been a strong ally with the United States, and the United States has been a strong ally to Israel for, the better part of 70 years. And you don't just throw out the baby with the bathwater. Right now, Israel is under the leadership of Benjamin Netanyahu, and his cabinet is filled with members who are very extreme in their conservative nature. They're far-right cabinet members. Would you have wanted NATO and the EU to toss the United States out when Trump held the presidency and the Republicans held both branches of government in the House and the Senate? And then Trump, puts in his Muslim ban and these other things that he was trying to do. Germany, England, France, Australia, Canada all had close ties with the United States, shared intel. And now all of a sudden, the United States is starting to go rogue and talking about breaking up NATO, in case you forgot the Helsinki meetings and such. Would it have been wise for them to toss us out had we done really, really bad acts? And it's kind of that same thing. And so as much as people would like Biden to toss Israel out on their ear, you can't throw them out yet because it's not just Netanyahu, it's the Israeli people that we're talking about here, as well as the Palestinian people in the area. But that's going to be one of the big problems. The other problem is the border. And, the Republicans, again, negotiate with the Democrats on a bipartisan border bill to help address issues at the border, and the House Republicans didn't want it because Trump wants to run on it. But I think that in some way gives Biden some ammunition because he can say how he said, because he's on record saying he would sign it and he would enforce it. And the House Republicans thumb their nose at the very thing that they asked for. So that kind of that should be telling their electorate they don't care about the border. In the past, the Page of Pentacles, messaging, youthful messaging about values and money. The economy's been doing well. He inherited supply chain issues, a pandemic. He had to get the vaccines out to people. Remember, the vaccines were approved, but Trump did absolutely nothing to put any systems in place to help get the vaccines out to the individual states. I realize it's been like 3 years since that happened, but remember what it was like back then. That these vaccines were out there, and then Trump just said, "Screw it! It's the next guy's problem. I'm not doing a damn thing about it." Because his supporters have forgotten. Trump's supporters have forgotten about it, but I sure as hell haven't. So, Page of Pentacles, it's reminding people the economy's doing well, their health is doing well, things are doing well, but it's also appealing to the values of the young voter. The young voters are what's going to get him back in there and keep him in there. I told you that he is, contemplating things. Current situation is now implementing the plans that he needs to appeal to younger people. So he's got that going on. Plans are about to be implemented. Overarching energy is the King of Pentacles. You still have to contend with Donald Trump and everything that's going on with Trump. But in some ways, at the reporter's dinner, I forget what they call that, he had some fun at Trump's expense, saying Trump was in some stormy weather and hasn't been getting much sleep at night because of it. Just poking fun at Donald Trump falling asleep during the New York criminal trial. And you have to remind people how things are better under you than they were under Trump, because polling numbers are starting to show that people seem to be forgetting that life wasn't as great under Trump as their memories might like them to think it was. The lesson to be learned is the Four of Cups. Sometimes you just have to deal with things that you don't like. Life's not not necessarily fair with the situations you have to deal with, but you still have to deal with it. Sometimes you have to deliver messages that you may not like, and sometimes you have to deliver messages that the audience isn't going to like. The outcome is going to be judgment. I think this is linked to the values of the young voters. It's how do you convey to young people that they can't have everything they want exactly when they want it, because you have to deal. Your hands are tied. There's only so much you can do. And the other message is, who do you want as your president? If you're not going to vote if you're not happy with Biden, who's your other choice? Your other choice is Trump. Do you want Trump in there? You could be mad and grumpy that Biden isn't progressive enough for your tastes, but he could get stuff done and has gotten stuff done. This guy didn't get squat done, but believe me, if he gets elected again, he'll get stuff done all right. It'll involve firing squads. So, your choice. Right now, voting blue buys you a 2-year window to get stuff done. That Four of Cups might also be just reminding people who took away your rights. Who took away your bodily autonomy rights? Who is the candidate that thinks that presidents should be kings? And who's the candidate that doesn't think that? I think that's going to start being his message. That, I may not be your cup of tea, but that cup over there is a cocktail of different lethal poisons. Each one worse than the next. Which one would you rather drink? Okay. My next question with Mr. Biden. So that's kind of what he's dealing with right now. he's trying to get that messaging out to. I think he's trying to get that messaging out to young people on who to vote for. Let me pause as I think of what my next question is going to be. Okay, I just want to keep. How's his health going to hold up during the? We're getting out of spring. We're just starting May here. Are we halfway through spring? About halfway through spring here. Yeah, we're halfway through spring. We're geared for the summer. How is his health going to be for the remainder of the year? Things looking good for him. 3 of coins. He's got. Generally, we may not hear a lot about his health. If there's anything troubling with his health, he'll be consulting his doctors and stuff like that. But I don't think we're going to get any major health issues on that. Yeah, he's active. He's fighting. He's out there for the fight. He's showing strength. Yeah, he's got this. Let's just. I probably should have done a 4-carder on this one, but Ace of Cups. People are really concerned about his age because that's just what right-wing media and left-wing media, for that matter, keep harping on. He's too old. He's too old. Well, guess what? Trump's only a few years younger, like 3 years younger, and in way worse shape than Biden. Hey, Biden's out there. He's out there. He's working. He's leading the way. Look at all these great cards in here. Manifestation. Again, he's out there. He's showing people who he is. He's showing people that he's in good health. And that, again, you got the infinity over his head. He hasn't lost his mental acuity. He's always out there in his speeches. Yeah, he's got a speech impediment. Yeah, he might screw up some words on occasion. So do I. And I'm, 20 plus years his junior. But, he's going to be fine. He's out there doing it. Overarching energy, or the lesson to be learned from this, is the 8 of Cups. I think it's just don't walk away from this guy just based on his age. And it could be that if he gets tired, he takes breaks type of thing. But again, you know what it might also be? This whole age issue, it's going to be a non-issue pretty soon, because I think other stuff is going to come up to replace it. You'll find out this was never a big deal in the first place. We talk about Trump having a medical event, when you're worried about Biden's age, and then Trump, has a medical event and can't even participate. Wheel of Fortune. To me, you know what this is? Biden has taken really good care of himself over the years. Other people his age could not do what he's doing now. But because he's taken such good care of himself, and I'm sure Dr. Jill has some hand in that too, he is just moving on strong. My mom is in her upper 80s. How old Mom? She's 88. Yeah, she's 88. 88 and 3/4. She'll be 89 in July. My mom is an absolute pistol. She's out there walking and doing stuff. She still drives. Betty never drove really well. She still drives. She doesn't want to drive on the freeway anymore, so she takes surface streets where she can go, and fortunately she can. She doesn't see as well at night anymore, so she tries not to drive at night. She's sensible about her driving and where she goes, but holds a very coherent conversation, still has wit and a sense of humor, and mentally is with it. As mentally with it as you can be when you got me and my brother as her 2 youngest children. There are more, by the way. I've got older sisters. Yeah. Yeah, you know what your kids do to your mental health. Now, take care of myself and just knock it up a couple of magnitudes there. Now, Biden's mental health is his physical and his mental health are fine. Okay. How's he going to do in the election? Is Biden going to win this election in November? That's what y'all are really here for, isn't it? 15 minutes in. Let's take a look. How's Biden going to do in November with the elections? Happy days are here again. 4 of Wands is a signifier card. Welcome back. And there's Biden as the King of Cups. Health is fine. His legacy has been established. You know, he's going to be Trump's going to be that one-term president. We don't have too many of those. And, everything's good. His health is good. His DNA is good. Everything's fine. He's getting back in, folks. In the past, you have the Two of Swords. You know, there was a real choice here. There was a real crossroads on either how, if he was going to run. I don't think so much that. This might go all the way back to 2020 or 2019 when he decided to run. But, this might go all the way back to when he decided to throw his hat in the ring. Because he wanted to basically save America. Remember, Joe Biden ran to save America. That is why Joe Biden ran. He was happy enough to be retired. He was going to let Hillary Clinton have her turn. And, you know, she would have ran for 2 terms. And you can imagine that Hillary would be out in 2024. Biden's not going to be running for president when he's 80-something years old in 2024. He was done. He's going to play with his German Shepherds, drive his Corvette around, you know, hang around with his kids and his grandkids. You know, he's going to, you know, live happily ever after. And, well, we couldn't let him do that because Trump. So we needed somebody to beat Trump, and we got Biden. The Hanged Man. Looking at things differently. Think about that. Biden's going to get in there. But something's going to be different. He's got a mandate and an agenda. The only way he's going to get a mandate is if the Democrats take both the House and the Senate. And I think that's what's going to happen. This next presidency, this next at least 2 years anyways, he's going to have majorities in Congress, which means he can get stuff done. Yep, and it's the government. There you go. A new perspective over the government. Page of Pentacles. Remember all those young people that wanted their values and they wanted to be heard and they wanted help? Guess what? Uncle Joe now has Congress. He has the presidency and Congress. And you know that debt relief that you wanted with student loan debt? Guess what's coming? There's going to be a lot of programs they're going to be able to get done in the next 2 years that are going to help people with money. The IRS just announced that they're planning on increasing the audits of the ultra wealthy people by 50%. Now, you might say 50% of nothing is still nothing, but it's probably not nothing. There might be a whole lot more to that. Outcome is the Six of Swords, the turmoil leading up to the election, the anxiety that we're going through now. He's going to guide us to calmer shores, calmer waters. The economy is going to do well. People are going to do well. The money is going to start flowing from the top down. That whole trickle economics thing, that doesn't work. It's going to start raining again. Because guess what? I guess there was a big canopy on that rainforest of trickle economics. And guess who's going to come shake the tree? A lot. And when there's all that water that's up there, that's what's going to fall down. All that water, all that money, all that wealth that should have been raining down on people for the last, it's been 50 years or 40 years. Reagan got in 80. The last 40, 45 years. All those empty promises of Reagan economics that Bush called voodoo economics and accurately called it voodoo economics. I voted for Reagan. I voted for Herbert Walker Bush. I grew up in a conservative family. That's who my dad would have voted for. That's who I voted for. I wouldn't, if I could go back in time, I wouldn't. That was, I believed what they said. I believed that these things would work. And they didn't. But I'm okay with that because, we learned. Sometimes you only learn by actually going through it. And I think Biden's going to right the ship on that. And I'm sorry for the people who've suffered for it. It's not fair. But maybe that suffering is finally coming to an end. And we can all be a part of supporting that by supporting your local Democrat from, dog catcher all the way to the President of the United States. Now, of course, if your Democrat's really corrupt like Bob Menendez, then pick the next best candidate. I don't want a Democrat just to have a Democrat in there if they're corrupt. But right now, let's get the Democrats in there so we can get these changes started so we can better vote for more ethical politicians that are going to help everybody in this country, especially the underserved and the marginalized people in this country. Okay, enough pontificating. We'll end the reading here. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your likes, shares, comments, everything you do to help feed the YouTube algorithms. This channel makes it out to a wider audience. To folks discovering this channel recently or for the first time, welcome to the channel. I'm glad you found us. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. And remember, folks, get out there and vote. Get like-minded people out there and vote. Make sure they're registered. Figure out a way to get them to the polls. Figure out a way to get the votes in if you're doing mail-in ballots and stuff like that. Let's get this done and change this country for the better. All right? Have a great night. Talk to you soon.